Nice tits, bitch.
Hello, fiends and fiendettes. Welcome to the movie review portion of episode 102 of the Best Horror Podcast on 7voltmedia.com. Scream Fiends. I'm your host, Xander, and with me once again is Russ.
Hi.
So, this has been a long episode, so let's just dive right in. This episode's movie of the week is 1999's Lake Placid.
It has existed since prehistoric times. It was worshipped by primitive cultures. It can kill a man with one crushing bite.
We heard a man was bit in half.
Any recent bear attacks?
Bears don't attack people underwater.
Probably a fever then.
What was that?
Whatever's out there being shot with this, he's dead.
Oh no.
Sheriff,
How many deputies you got?
You came here to help you find it.
we can't let him kill it.
Experience a few parts mystery
Do you have any theories why he's here?
Honestly, I don't know.
and a few parts missing.
It's a human toe.
Is this the man who was killed? He seemed taller.
Oh my god.
Bill Pullman.
Shoot him! No!
How much of a wacko is this guy? Bridget Fonda.
Mother!
Oliver Platt.
Maybe he swam back out! Maybe not.
I just have this feeling everything's totally safe.
This summer, the Earth's oldest creature has just found a new home.
Go under!
Lake Placid.
A classic.
You know what? I had a lot of fun with this movie when I was a kid. I watched it
Yeah.
a few times.
Yeah. It's
It's a sequel to Independence Day, where the president, Bill Pullman,
he's now a wildlife.
he retires. You know, the world kind of gets back, and so he retires and becomes a wildlife and game conservation officer in
Yep.
Maine,
Yep.
and he meets Jodie Foster.
Yeah.
All right, so what happens next?
Well, this movie is starring
Jodie Foster.
Bridget Fonda, who looks remarkably like Jodie Foster,
Yeah.
as Kelly Scott, Bill Pullman, the President of the United States, as Jack Wells.
Bill Pullman in the 90s wishes he was Kurt Russell in the 90s.
Yes. Everyone wishes they were Kurt Russell.
Now, I would like
Yeah.
to be him. He was. I saw that Santa movie he was in because I have kids.
Christmas Chronicles.
That was pretty good. I like seeing him as Santa Claus.
And that's not like he's actually Santa. It's not like he's a normal dude and then he got cursed with the Santa curse.
No, I
Now
like that
he's Santa
movie, too.
Claus.
With
the
Tim
Santa
Allen.
Claus.
Bad, 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 bad. Yes. Oh.
Oliver Platt as Hector Sear. Brendan Gleeson as Sheriff
Mad-Eye Moody.
Hank Caro. And last but not least,
An alligator.
that and Betty White as Dolores Bickerman. It was written by David E. Kelly, who you may know from many legal dramas such as Ally McBeal, Doogie Howser. He created Doogie Howser. The guy that wrote Lake Placid created Doogie Howser.
Margaret Hendersbranch, I don't know how to say her name, but she from Law and Order SVU was also in this movie.
And I'm sure he probably created that show as well.
No, that was Dick Wolf.
The Practice with Dylan McDermott.
McGurgberg.
That's right? That's the dude.
Did you ever see that movie about the politicians running for office with Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis?
No.
They hire Dylan McDermott to like get Zach Galifianakis to be more cutthroat because he's like super nice or whatever.
Yeah.
But then they find out he's a scam artist. He goes, "You might actually know this man as this or that, and sometimes as Hollywood's Dylan McDermott." Pretty good.
Is this a show or a movie?
It was a movie. I can't remember what it's called, but
Huh.
like Will Ferrell's like the incumbent, and Zach Galifianakis is trying to like run against him to like clean up the town because it got corrupted,
Yeah.
and like it's pretty funny.
And directed by Steve Miner, who you may know from directing Friday the 13th Part 2 and 3,
Oh,
Halloween H2O, Warlock, Wild Hearts Can't Be Tamed.
is it?
That's the movie where she goes blind because she's horse diving. One of the greatest.
Oh, is that? Yeah.
You know, there was a spat in the
90s.
early 90s, I would say, where there's a lot of like super depressing movies like Fried Green Tomatoes,
Steel Magnolias.
Steel Magnolias,
A River Runs Through It.
A River Runs Through It,
What's that other one? That's
Legend of the Fall.
Legend of the Fall. Where Brad Pitt kills a bear with his bare hands. Not more than a knife.
Wild Hearts Can't Be Tamed is one of them. That movie we were just talking about the other day with Tom Cruise and that homesteading movie.
Oh, Legends of the Fall?
No.
Far and Away.
Far and Away, hits his head on a rock and dies.
Oh, by Tom Cruise.
Right when he gets to his dream home.
Oh, I'm in love here. God, shit.
Yeah, I don't know what that was all about.
It was all set in the same year, like 1892. They're all like in like the Victorian age, or whatever that's called.
I guess we kind of have. It was more in the 2000s where we had those kinds of movies, but the characters would die from like diseases. Like there was
Philadelphia.
Yep.
No, that would probably
That was in the 90s. But I'm thinking of like, what is that? The Stars.
Notebook.
The Stars. Oh, that.
Isn't the Notebook one of them dies?
Does he die or she die?
I don't know. But there was a
Someone
Walk to
dies.
Remember.
Yep.
With
Yep.
Mandy Morbid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's not the same person. Mandy Morbid is a beautiful model, and Mandy Moore is a beautiful singer.
Wait, who was the first one?
Mandy Morbid's
Mandy Morbid.
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 Is a model.
Oh,
She
okay.
plays Dungeons and Dragons too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very pretty.
Stars. What's that? Stars. I don't know. There's some movie called this. Something about stars.
Everything by Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
It's all depressing. No, his movies are fun, but
Forever Young
For
with Mel Gibson.
Ever Young.
That was another Steve
Is that the one
Miner.
about? Is that the one about where he's got to kill all the Brits because they murder his family, and he teaches his kids to shoot guns.
No, that's the.
Got him.
Great movie, by the way.
I don't mind The Patriot, especially when Heath Ledger dies. What like shaky face thing he did.
Yeah.
It was convincing.
Oh my god.
I liked it. That was my
Yeah.
first experience with Heath Ledger was that, and then 10 Things I Hate About You, and I'm like, what is going on?
So let's change this up a bit. Let's talk about the characters first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so
Bill
first of all,
Pullman is Kurt Russell in Lake Placid. So he's covered. So we'll go to Kelly Scott next.
yeah, Bridget Fonda. She plays this
Jodie Foster in the movie Lake Placid. No, just kidding. But
paleontologist.
yep. And they study bones.
She just got out of a relationship with her boss, played by Adam Arkin,
Yeah.
uncredited.
Was he uncredited?
Yeah.
Weird.
Because he has a few lines of dialogue,
Yeah.
so it's not like he's just like, I'm Adam Arkin.
Maybe if you don't maybe he's a friend of Steve Miner.
He is because he was in bunch of his
Okay.
other stuff.
Maybe he just
not
did-
Steve Miner, David E. Kelly.
Maybe he just did it as a friend.
Yeah,
And he's like, I'll do
probably.
this. But you could still be like, hey, special thanks to Alan Arquette. What's his name?
Alan
Argon.
Arkin.
The 26. What?
Alan Arkin. The third.
Are you messing with me?
No. Yeah, so she just... And that boss was having a side relationship
With her friend,
who also works there.
Shramdams.
Who also works at the paleontology office.
Her mother is somebody famous too. Margaret Straga Trapezes.
Bridget Fonda is Jane Fonda's niece. And Henry Fonda's granddaughter. And was there James Fonda?
What? There was a Jane Fonda.
Jane Fonda. Thought there was a James Fonda.
I don't know.
I don't know. We don't need to know what's her face's famous mom or whatever.
I want to know.
And then we have... So she is... This Kelly is sent off. They find a tooth because... First scene in the movie.
Well, now are we going to go through the characters here?
Well, we are, but this sort of... We can lead into why Kelly is going to this place.
Mariska
All right.
Hargitay, that's her name.
Okay.
I had to get it. Okay, cool.
Don't
so
know
yeah,
who that is.
yeah. So cool. So yeah. So they go. So Danny Glover and some redheaded scuba guy
Yeah.
are on a boat, and they're like, "I gotta go tag some beavers."
Yeah.
And so he's like, "Oh, I know you guys don't like us, share us." He's like, "Yeah, because you're dumb." So he jumps in the water. And well, who's really dumb, though? He jumps into the water with a giant crocodile in it. Dumbass. So he swims over to the beaver hole. And he's feeling around in there. And then he gets scared by a turtle because he's a bitch. And then he gets scared by a beaver. A beaver jumps out of the hole at him. He's like, oh,
I think
shit.
the beaver actually comes out first.
No, it's the turtle first because it's the camera's behind it like, what's back there? And he turns around
Oh.
like this. And the turtle's like, woo, 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 woo. And then, the guy's like, oh my God, because he can't talk. He's got that thing in his mouth. So then the beaver jumps out of the beaver hole and he swims away from it like, blah, 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 again.
Well, because he was just like sticking his hand up there.
What a dick.
Yeah.
And then, Danny Glover's on there listening to the radio, eating Twinkies, bitching about his life.
Glover.
What's his name? I can't remember.
Brendan Gleeson.
Yep, Danny Glover. So he he's up there like blah blah blah, Twinkie, 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 blah blah
Yep.
blah. And then he sees this redheaded scuba guy like blah blah blah. He's like flying out of the water. He's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Ah!"
Gets his little paddle out.
He's just gonna hit him.
Hey.
I would have hit him too. If some
Hey.
guy was flying out of the water at me, I'd hit him too.
Yeah.
And instead, he's being bitten by an alligator.
Pulls him up onto the boat,
And
but he's half a man.
He's missing his lower half, and he grabs Danny Glover and says, "Croc." And Danny Glover's like, "What?" And then they take him to a morgue and find a tooth, and then this is where we get Jodie Foster coming out to see to see what's about this tooth, and she's like, so she gets there, and there's this, "You don't like me because I'm a woman, I like science," and he goes, "I'm a dumb hick, fuck me," and they're like bitching at each other. Then they go to a morgue. She's like, "Wait, is the guy in there?" And it's like, "You're a scientist, he's a cop," and he gets her and goes, "Well, that's where they keep dead people," and she's like, "Well, whatever." Dr. Clarice goes inside then, and so she goes in. They find this, they're looking. She's like, "Oh, let me see this tooth. This isn't a fossil. This is brand spanking new. You got a microscope?" And Jack Black or Kyle Gass is like, "Yeah, sure." Because that's the morgue guy. I don't know his name, but he looked like Kyle Gass. He's like, "Bap," and he goes, "Yeah, go over there and check out this microscope." So she's like, "Oh my God, this is something else. This is reptilian." And they're like, "Okay, I need to see the body." It's like, cop's like, "Blah blah blah. You don't want to do that. I just ate Twinkies and almost threw up." And so they pull the sheet down, and she's like, "Oh my God, I've never seen anything like that." It's like, whatever, Clarice, you fucking saw some dude's head in a jar in some shed somewhere. You cut your leg, you idiot. But anyways, then they leave.
What?
Then they meet Bill Pullman, and he's like, "You guys seen Independence Day?" And they're like, "Nope." everybody's forgot about that incident. That but he's like, just flying jets, no big
He's a
deal.
mild-mannered conservative.
Yeah, he is. He's like, "Arr." And Danny Glover's over here like, hey, he's got a bad attitude. You guys will probably fuck at the end of the movie, and so there, there's already sexual tension. It's like they are pretty much dry humping with their eyes.
Well, yeah, because she's fresh off the dump wagon.
Oh yeah, so she's horny.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and he's horny because he's a guy. So I mean, it's just, everybody's horny, and fucking Danny Glover donut faces over here like, I'm gonna watch and jerk off. But it's so they're gonna go out to the site. But then they're like, well, you're not going. Is it because I'm a woman? No, it's because you're a paleontologist, and this has to do with a dead body, and you can't come out. She goes, well, I'm coming out there. He goes, well, I'm horny. Let's go. And so they drive out there, and they get there, and they're on the boat. They're looking around, and they're like, oh, what's that over there? And like, oh, let's see what it is. And, Danny Glover's like, I'm not getting any tonight. I'm pissed. So he rips the head off of a moose that was in the water, and he just wings it at Jodie Foster. And she's like, I don't know, Dr. Lecter. And, so she's like, why would you throw a head at me? And he's like, because I'm horny. And he's shoving Twinkies in his mouth. Bill Pullman's over here like, I'm just driving a boat. And so,
doesn't compare to the jet plane.
No. He's ready to he wants to take this boat, right, and go inverted with it and get right up that alligator's booty and say, up yours, And that was Randy Quaid, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He was probably already crazy at this point in his life. He probably actually lives in the woods that this movie is filmed in. He's watching the whole time, and then he's thinking he's witnessing real life events, right? So that's why he's fucked up. And so then there's, so now we know why Randy Quaid was. It's because of that. Was it Dennis Quaid? No, Dennis Quaid went to the planet with the people. They talk like this. Anyways. Have you ever seen Enemy Mine? We've talked about this. You guys haven't seen Enemy Mine. You guys need to see fucking Enemy Mine.
Oh my god. That fucking movie. Oh. Wait, he had that weird fruit that looked like a little.
It looked like an
orange grape.
An orange beak mouth. What?
Well, that's what his mouth. But they ate these like little balls that they looked like rubber
balls. Yep. Yeah.
There's something that's in real life that is it the stuff you put in like vases, like fake
like marbles?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I don't know, but after that movie I probably almost choked 1,000 times because I was like, oh my god, that looks like that delicious. Oh, I gotta eat it.
I want to watch that movie right now.
Oh my god.
That's a good movie. So Dennis Quaid, Danny Glover, and Jodie Foster, they all run over to the shore at this point, and they're bitching at each other the whole time. This movie should be called "Bitching at Lake Placid" because that's everybody just bitches at each other. And then
but they've got some great one-liners and great comebacks.
There are some good ones, yeah. So we're gonna get to a good fuck shit here. So like, a helicopter shows up, and Jack Black Dad jumps out, and so. He's like, hey, I'm a crazy croc guy. And she's like, I can't believe he's here. Oh, this guy he thinks they're gods. And the donut guy's like, well, I hate everybody, so I'm going to hate this guy. And Bill Pullman's like, well, I'm cooler than him already because I go like this with my eyes. And so he's like, he's like, you guys act. I'm going to pretend to be Kurt Russell. I'm working on something here.
No, I wasn't 100% clear on who the Oliver Platt's character was.
He was a professor, but he kind of believed he's kind of a quack professor.
Did she say he was a rival?
I don't know.
A rival paleontologist?
He said they had humped before.
Yes.
But
and she's like, oh, I never did that because she wants the Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
President. But no.
Yeah, so this guy's he's funny and stuff. So we got some daylight. Let's go on a canoe. So they go down some canoes. So here's my thing.
And Donald Glover hates
canoes.
Jack Black's dad.
Oh, he just hates Jack Black.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you, Kato.
Right.
But here's the thing. So some guy just got bit in half in a lake.
Yes.
And so they decided to take canoes out on the lake.
Safe?
Well, of course we know what happens. One of the canoes gets tipped over, and you don't know how they get saved, but they get saved. And they end up back on the shore. You see them like pulling them on the boats, but
Oh yeah.
have you ever tried to pull anything heavy onto a canoe in water? Guess what happens? It fucking tips over. Maybe not. I don't know. I mean, those things tip really easy if you're being a dick. But so
They
then
were piloted by the president.
and he did. He was, Echo 1, Fox 2.
Wait, wasn't that when they were scuba diving, or is that later on?
That's later on.
Oh, okay.
So then they go back, and she's on the phone bitching, and she goes like, "We need to get something up here because blah blah blah." It tipped. We didn't see anything. That's been the joke the whole time too. Is like they've seen shit happen. A guy got bit in half.
Yeah.
A canoe got completely overturned. Now it wasn't overturned on its axis like where it would rock. It was tipped from the front to the back over.
Yeah.
And Jodie Foster's like, "I can't swim," and so then she went flying, and so then what do we get next? Oh, and then she's on the phone, and she's like, "Fuck shit!" I've never called somebody a fuck shit. Have you ever called anybody a
No.
fuck shit?
No.
I'm gonna start calling people a fuck shit.
Fuck shit.
And yeah,
Mr. Fuck Shit.
Yeah, so then they camp the first night, and she gets her own tent, and the woman cop's like, she's like, "You're gonna be in here with me, right?" And she's like, "I know." And Jodie Foster's like, "Well, this is creepy," and so she's not exactly happy about camping. She wasn't happy about camping to begin with because.
No, she's a city girl.
And she's got to think about camping, and she's got to think about
Yeah.
bugs, and she's got to think about ticks, and she's got to think about leeches, and she's got to think about mosquitoes.
Clean fingernails.
And I have clean fingernails. I can't come to Maine. That's
Nope.
apparently a law.
Nope. Yep.
That's a law. If you have clean fingernails, you
Don't go there.
You cross from the border of Maine.
Don't go.
There's some law about that going into Wisconsin with a duck on your head. There's like an old law written in the books. I don't know what that's about. You ever look up crazy laws in states? That was like
Yeah,
one of
yeah.
them.
Like a live duck.
Yeah, you couldn't wear a duck on your head. I don't know if it had to be live or if it was alive or dead, but you couldn't wear a duck on your head and cross the border.
To be young. To be alive. Back in.
Maybe it was like because there's like hunting on the river, so if you're like walking around with a duck on your head, you didn't want to get shot.
Yep.
You guys check this out. Oh! Do a whole movie based on that the writing of that law. Be a good Coen Brothers movie.
The Duck Hunter.
We could get Robert De Niro and Christopher
Walken.
Anyways, what else
They
happens?
throw
in
a
this fucking
party
movie?
because-
and they're dancing, and Oliver Platt's about to nail this lady, but then
Straight
Donuts
up tells
comes in.
her like, you got nice big boobs.
Oh, yeah. So what he says is, it must be dangerous to be a cop. Especially if you have those nice big boobs. And she's like, ha, my boobs.
Yeah, thanks.
And but then, Donut Glover comes in, and he's like, and everyone's like, okay, party's over. And then...
Can she stay, though? Yep.
Yeah, we were going to mate, is his exact words.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, go to your room. Blah, 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 blah. And we got to be professional. And then they have a spat about, one's a hick, one's a scientist.
Yep.
And then the hick goes to bed.
We see Betty White at some point.
Well, what we have next is we get the first scare, though, of the movie. The first real scare.
Oh.
Donut Glover goes out.
He has to pee.
He's got to pee. And he peed on some trees.
Wearing his underwears.
And he
his
actually
police
peed. It was
shirt.
real pee, though.
Yeah?
Yeah. Did you see that? Actually, there was steam coming up from behind him.
No.
So I think he may have actually peed on Oliver Platt. So, Oliver Platt, he's pissed because he's setting up spring traps because those damn
He's in the
alligators
bushes.
like
He's
to
in the
come up on
bushes.
shore.
Yep.
Anyways, they wake up the next day and they get on a boat to go scuba diving.
The president and
Yep.
Oliver Platt.
The president and Jack Black's dead. So they go scuba diving and get separated. And the president sees the alligator's tail. It's a crocodile. Sorry. And he's like, oh, shit. And so that's nice.
Immediately swims right towards it.
Hey, well, let me go check this out. It bit this guy in half, but it probably won't bite me because I saved the world.
Doesn't Jane Fonda get knocked off the boat again?
Yeah. Because
and she ends up like a mile away from the boat somehow.
This is what happens.
Okay.
The crocodile grabs the anchor.
Oh.
And he drags the boat away from that spot, and she falls off. And
That
it
makes
happens.
sense
Then
now.
they get her on the boat just in time, but because you think it's the croc coming up to get her, but actually, Bill Pullman's like, I'm not waiting for this end of the movie to have sex. I'm gonna have sex in the water. You ever seen Wild Things? Oh boy! So he comes up underneath her and puns. But so then they pull them both on the boat, and then they're like, well, we can't do it yet. We're all wet and there's crocodiles. And then anybody seen Jack Black? And they're like, oh, he's probably over there. So Donut Glover pulls the boat around. They find Bubbles. They pull him up quick. And they're like, there's something down there. And then they...
Let me pull this sonar thing up.
Yeah.
And the deputy gets his head chopped off.
Yep. Yeah, very much. I think that was actually a reference to a Lovecraft story called Lurker in the Lurker. No, the Lurking Fear. I think.
Huh.
Is it? It's the one where like the second part of the story. This guy's like looking out the window because during the storm, and these beasts get like during their electrical storms, like these beasts come out to like ravage these villages.
Oh, yeah.
So they're like he's looking out during it, and when the storm's over, he's still looking out. So they go over to his body, his head's missing, or it's like his face is like completely mauled.
Oh,
and it's like, oh, okay. I don't think this is a real reference to that. Almost the right area though, because it's it's generally set in
Maine,
well,
Maryland,
like no, like Rhode Island, Boston, Massachusetts, massive two shits, as I like to say.
Anyways, they get back on shore, and then they're immediately attacked by a bear.
Yeah, that bear's pissed. That bear's like, hey, fuck you. Well, first off, this is what I don't like about this bear. Completely unrealistic. The bear runs by them. It doesn't run to them or tries to get them. It runs past them.
Well, it wants to get Clarice.
Well, it doesn't even get to her, though. It just runs and turns around and goes,
hey, I'm a bear.
And everybody's like, what's this guy's deal? And Donut Glover's over there, Twinkie, Twinkie, Twinkie. And so then they see the alligator, crocodile. Finally, it comes out of the water and eats the bear. And the bear's like, "Oh shit!"
Yep, this is the first time we see a full
CG crocodile.
a good look at what the crocodile looks like, and yet it's
fake
1999 CGI.
It holds up better than some of this new shit.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
I think because the screen shit going on, like the bear wasn't very good when it was getting bit. But it wasn't too bad considering.
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely seen worse things in modern movies. Yeah. I don't know what.
Then they're like, let's all be friends now. But then they're like, we're still not friends, but we're kind of friends. And everybody's getting their ideas to do this or that.
Yep.
They're going. Then I think at this point they're like, okay, we've seen it now. Then they meet Betty White.
Well, they're spying on her. They met her earlier on, and she says,
because they asked her about the lake. They're asking, her,
yeah,
did anybody
and
live
her
around here?
husband died.
Oh yeah, well it's not on record. Well, it's because what
She
happened?
makes a joke about hiding his body in the attic or something.
No, what happens? Well, how did he die? Well, I killed him. They're like, what? And then she made up the story about how she killed him.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't believe me? I buried him right over here. And then they're like, well, okay, whatever. You're under house arrest. You can't leave. What you find out is that she's feeding the alligator.
Yeah.
Crocodile. She's feeding it. Cows.
Live cows.
Cows.
Blindfolded cows.
She blindfolds a cow and then feeds it to the alligator. Crocodile. And so I don't care about getting the actors' names right, but I'm really I want to make sure it's a crocodile, not an alligator.
Not an alligator. Alligators are freshwater.
But
wait.
I have no fucking clue.
Oh, I don't know either.
I just know they kept saying crocodile, but I keep saying alligator.
I thought it was something like alligators are freshwater and crocodiles are saltwater. But then there's something I don't know. Clearly, crocodiles are freshwater too.
I have no idea. I have no fucking clue.
No.
I
know what it is.
They don't breathe water, so I don't think that matters.
I think it's alligators are western and crocodiles are eastern.
Maybe, but I thought there were crocs down south.
Maybe. I don't know.
But when I think about their heads, alligators have kind of a rounded thing, and there's crocs seem like they're more pointed. And
I thought it was the other way around.
Or maybe the other way around.
Yeah. Alligators are more stealth, and crocodiles are more fat. I don't know. We're not Jane Fonda paleontologists.
Or they're living things. They're herpologist or something, herpetologist or something. But yeah, so so
Oliver Platt goes swimming.
Well, there's a fight in between. Oh yeah, no, that's right. He takes the helicopter for one more little. No. He takes the. No. What does he do?
thought he was just like out swimming.
Because they get mad at him because like, do you have a death wish?
Yeah.
You know, and he's like,
Oh, he does take the helicopter out with the female deputy.
yes. And so he's swimming, and then they're being chased by. The alligator gets right up to him. It's not eating him, but he thinks he won't get bit by the alligator.
He's slowly backing up towards the helicopter.
So they get in, and it almost takes down the helicopter.
Yeah, because he inflates a raft or something, and the crocodile goes after that instead of him.
But he still bites like the one pontoon of this helicopter, but they get away.
But she shoots him.
It's like, ow, fucker, and then let's go, and the croc's like, okay, well, I'll get him later.
Yep.
And so then they leave. They go back, and they're yelling at him for this. He goes to his tent because he gets punched in the face by Donut Glover. And so, yeah. So then Jodie Foster comes in. She's like, you know, what do you got there? You know, this or that. And he's like, do you like cheeseburgers and beer? And I had to throw in one more reference. But yeah, so then she's like, you know, do you have a death wish? She's like, no, they're gonna kill this thing, and then we can't let them do that. Then the cop goes in, and they become friends, kind of, and then
they come up with this big plan how they're gonna tie a cow to the helicopter, dangle it above the water.
Yep.
Lure the crocodile over and shoot it with tranquilizers.
Yep. And it works. Hey!
Yeah, and I'm surprised. I don't think they could pull this off in this day and age, but they actually tie a cow to a helicopter and dangle it above the water.
Yeah. Well, in the water even.
Like no CGI.
They're like dipping this cow in the water up and down.
Like I don't know if this is like animal
cruelty.
Yeah, I mean clearly the cow is like safely secured.
Yeah,
but it's still you're dangling a cow above water.
Well, it's better than dangling it from a hook and letting it bleed out so you can eat it later, I suppose. Which is probably what happened.
Air bullet.
Yeah, Javier Bardem comes in and goes, choose heads or tails, and the cow's like moo, and he's like, yeah. Anyways, but what a way to kill people. Fucking hamburgers. But yeah, so you get all this bullshit, and then they capture it because the croc comes like and it gets stuck in the helicopter.
Yeah, because the helicopter crashes.
Yeah. And Oliver Platt gets out in time. Then the crocky comes through. Then they shoot it with a bunch of trankies.
Yep.
And then Pullman's like, "We'll kill the thing," and they're like, "No, we can't kill it." And then he goes over there like he's gonna kill it. And they're like, "No," and he shoots it with another trank.
Yeah.
And then he almost gets bit. Oh no! Then Oliver Platt gets bit by a smaller carac that's there.
And there's two of them.
And then they're like, "Oh shit!" And then Donut Glover's like, boom, shoots him with this cannon. That was a joke earlier in the movie that we
finally
passed over
gets to use
funny.
his giant gun.
Yep. And they're like, "How was it?" He goes, it wasn't underwhelming.
Yeah.
So they kill the other croc. They capture the other one. The law people come out and take it away, and then Bill Pullman and Jodie Foster are like, "Hey, jokes about Maine and New York again." And then
let's go fuck.
Then they get in the truck together, and they're gonna go to a bar, get wasted, and then have
rub their
yeah
fingers together.
Something, who knows? and then Jodie Foster meets her dad in Contact, and Carl Sagan's like, "What's up?" And then so I mean, what other Jodie Foster reference can we make? Then Bill Pullman like. What happens? They get to the bar, right, and then a tornado hits it, and he ties his belt around this like water main, and the tornado starts to suck Bill Pullman and Jodie Foster up.
And then Robert De Niro comes driving up in a taxi cab.
Yeah. And then you see that cow from the helicopter come by, and they're like, "Hey, there's the cow from that." And then it comes back, but then Bill Pullman's like, "Look there's another cow." And then Jodie Foster's like, I think that was the same one." And then they drive a truck through a house, and then they go have sex.
Randy Quaid jumps out of the bushes and drives his pickup truck into the center of the
Cthulhu that came out of the Lake Placid. Yeah. It's perfect. After everything's said and done, he drains his shitter into the city sewer, and everything's good.
Then finally, in the closing moments, we see Betty White
feeding bread to ducks.
The end. So I feel like this movie it's different from a lot of like
I would watch this movie anytime.
yes, it's different from a lot of like giant monster movies because what I usually expect is it's going to be a bunch of teenagers, they're all going to be really dumb and they're all going to get eaten. Now the movie
Not in the 90s.
Now the movie we're watching next week is very similar. I don't think it's quite as comedic, but the whole cast, like,
It was fun.
it just works so well together.
It was so much fun. I wish they'd do like a sequel with the same cast and just like some crazy. They go back and like make turn it into some shark. Have you ever seen any of the Sharknadoes? I haven't seen any of them.
I saw the first one.
I didn't see any of them.
That's it. It's not worth it. But in any case, I think it's because David E. Kelly, we talked about the shows he's created, and they're not horror related whatsoever. So I think that definitely lends itself to why this movie works better than most.
I mean, and coming in at the end of the 90s too, it feels like a 90s movie. I didn't realize it was that old, but like now seeing it, I'm like, yeah, that is definitely that old.
Yeah.
You know, and man, what a movie. Isn't there another movie about something with a river? I'm thinking of like this raining,
like a river monster?
Got this like picture in my head of a movie with a monster in the river. And there's like a rain scene, and they have to like plug this dam. What am I thinking of?
There was the TV show The River.
No.
Well, Anaconda, which we're
Not that one.
watching
It's
next
that's
week.
no. It was
I don't know. In any case, there's some passable CGI. Not great, but
at this point you don't care.
yeah. But they do mix practical effects in there. Like there is a animatronic crocodile, like a giant animatronic crocodile.
That dude's body in half.
Yeah. When he's getting pulled up out of the boat, it's
You can tell.
clearly CGI. But then when he's on the boat, it's practical effects.
Yeah, it was pretty good. And then
The head getting bit off with all the blood coming out was practical.
so it was good. You know, so I would easily give it a seal of approval.
Oh, definitely.
But because of what it is, I can't give it more than a bronze. I would give it a bronze though, because if it was on, I would watch it.
Yeah,
it's entertaining enough. I mean, the cinematography, the music, everything about it. There's nothing that like stands out. Like, oh my god, this is good or that's good.
Yeah,
it's pretty standard, cut and dry movie. But for some reason, the pacing, everything about it's really fun. And
it doesn't even really necessarily feel like a horror giant monster movie.
Yeah, there's not a lot of tension. I mean, there really doesn't seem to be any indication that he ever had any idea, he was never going to hurt any of the main characters. I mean, Oliver Platt gets a bit at the end, but it's more humorous than anything else.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it doesn't go the Deep Blue Sea route where
that lady throws herself to the sharks.
or LL Cool J, or was it Samuel L. Jackson?
Gets his arm bit off.
Was Sam Jackson in Deep Blue Sea?
Yeah. He gets his arm bit off first, and then I think the sharks, he just falls in the water and dies at that.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm so sick
This
of these
movie, you
sharks
never
in my
worry
motherfucking sea
about
lab.
the main cast getting eaten.
No, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun movie. Watch it. If you haven't seen it, see it.
Yeah.
If you don't have fun, well,
I'm sure
sorry.
this is the one time where we didn't necessarily spoil the movie.
Nope.
We went through it, but
It's fun. Go see
Yeah.
that movie.
yeah.
And if you don't go see it or if you don't like it, you're a fuck shit.
What was the other
thing?
one? Yeah.
Oh, there was another one. There's a fuck shit and a fucking damn it. A fuck damn fuck dumb fuck dumb fuck no. What was the other one?
I don't know. I didn't write that one down.
Shit.
No.
Fuck shit.
Let us know on Twitter at Scream Fiends what
Yeah.
what the best one-liners are in Lake Placid.
We should do that. We should do a competition, like a tournament for one-liners from Lake Placid, and the winner gets episode 101. How do we turn this episode into over 2
Oh
hours?
shit. Yeah. So I agree as well. Seal of approval. Do you give it a?
I'll go bronze.
Bronze.
Just because it
Yeah,
was it good? Yeah, maybe. But is but like
it's a fun watch, but it's not like accredited
No.
like Scream Fiends. You get a medal.
yeah,
You get a seal of approval.
yeah.
And
give it a
Bronze.
seal. Bronze.
I'll go. It's a competent
It's competent.
film.
I mean, it's a competent film. There's nothing too special about
Yeah.
its directing, but it's competent and it flows well. It doesn't. It all goes in a nice straight line. You go from there's something in the water to there's a fucking alligator in the water to the alligator's caught. I mean, there's no really offshoots much. You get a tiny bit, but you get just the right amount of character development to give a shit.
Yeah, and they're it's a great cast and great characters.
Yeah, it's good.
So it's just really fun to watch.
Yep.
So
Good shit. See
Yep.
it. Lake Placid.
yep. And from us at Scream Fiends, so long and farewell.